Hello everyone, welcome to e-learning. So today we're going to do some mathematics and our topic today is area and perimeter. We're going to first start off with perimeter. Now if you look at the word perimeter, it ends with the word meter. So that would give you a little clue as to what perimeter is all about. Now let's say that in your school they asked you to plan a vegetable garden because they wanted to use some of the food so we could feed some of the kids at the school. So now they said that we had to put a fence around the vegetable garden. So now we had to take a walk around the boundary of the garden and we had to measure the distance. Now that is what perimeter is all about. Measuring the distance all around the boundary of a certain shape. So, a proper definition of perimeter is the distance around a certain shape. So, basically, what we do is we add all the sides up around the shape, and that will give us our perimeter. But now we need to be, because we're doing maths, we can't just say side plus side plus side plus side. We need to give it proper measurements, so and definitions of certain words. So we're going to say the longer side is going to be the length and the shorter side is going to be the breadth. And we're assuming that the shape is a rectangle, though it looks a little bit like a square, but let's just say it's a rectangle. Okay, now the opposite sides in a rectangle are equal. So we have two lengths that would be the same measurement. And then we would have two breadths that would be the same measurement. Now, obviously, we need a formula to calculate it. So we're going to say perimeter is equal to length plus breadth plus length plus breadth. And we saw that there were two lengths and there were two breadths. But now you're in grade 6 and you're in grade 7, so you're not going to be adding perimeters equal to length plus breadth plus length plus breadth. We're going to be slightly more complicated but not actually complicated, it's actually easier. So what we're going to do is we're going to cancel out the one length and breadth side because we know opposite sides of a rectangle are equal. And we're going to say perimeter is equal to length plus breadth because we're going to add the one side over here. And we're going to say times 2 because that would give us the opposite side of the shape. So we say perimeter is equal to length plus breadth in brackets because that's what we're adding. And we're multiplying it by 2. So we also know that the distance around any shape can be measured in either millimeters, centimeters, meters, or kilometers. And that is our unit of measurements. And now we're obviously going to need instruments to do our measurements. So we could use rulers or measuring tapes or measuring wheels or laser distance meters, ultrasonic distance meters. We can use GPS devices or calipers. And this is all the measuring instruments of how they look. Now in a car, you use an odometer. In the kitchen, you would use a scale. And here are all the whole lot of different, here's a car here. The odometer measures the distance in your car. And these measuring tools are used to measure different objects, different spaces. Like a trund wheel is used to measure distance, which architects use. But we're going to go back to our topic, which is perimeter. So now let's just say this is our simplified version of our garden. Here's our rectangle, and we want to measure the perimeter of this. So we're going to say perimeter is equal to length plus breadth times 2. So our length is 10 meters and our breadth is 5 meters. So some people say the breadth is also called width. Okay, so it will be length plus breadth or length plus width times 2. So here we write our formula. P is equal to 10 meters plus 5 meters in brackets because that's what we're adding. We're adding only one length and one breadth times 2. That is 15 meters times 2. And that will be perimeter is equal to 30 meters. And that is just a good, easy, simple calculation. So now we know our shape is a rectangle, and a rectangle is a polygon, which is a closed shape with straight sides. Okay, now we're going to move on to a square. Now we can't use the same formula for a square because here all the sides are equal. So we're going to say, now we know that each side is equal to 4 centimeters. So we could use a very easy formula and we can say P is equal to side times 4. That is, perimeter is equal to side times 4 sides. So in this case, it's going to be the side is 4 centimeters. We multiply it by our 4 sides and it's going to give us 16 centimeters. Okay. Now let's say we have an equilateral triangle. And an equilateral triangle, when we look at the shape, we must first analyze what shape it is and examine the characteristics or the properties of that shape. So here we know that all the sides are 5 centimeters. So we're going to say P is equal to side times 3, and it is 5 centimeters times 3 sides, which gives us 15 centimeters. Okay, now we're going to go to an isosceles triangle. Now you know that in an isosceles triangle, the opposite sides are equal. So our measurements, our base of the isosceles triangle is 7 centimeters. The one side is 6 centimeters. And because it is equal, the other side is also going to be 6 centimeters. So here our formula is going to be slightly different. We're going to say perimeter is equal to side plus side plus side. And we'll also use this formula for a scalene triangle, because in a scalene triangle, none of the sides are equal. Okay, so here we're going to say 6 centimeters plus 6 centimeters plus 7 centimeters. And we're going to add that up. It's going to be 19 centimeters. So to make life easy, we can say 6 plus 6 is 12. Then 12 plus 7 is 19. And we have perimeter is equal to 19 centimeters. Now we're going to move on to area. Now, area is totally different from perimeter. In perimeter, we walked around the boundary and we added all the sides, but we can't do that for area. So area is the space inside of the shape. It's of a 2D flat shape. It's a total space inside. It's basically all the sand inside the shape here. Now, to calculate that space inside, we use the formula area is equal to length times breadth. So we take one length and one breadth and we multiply that. And that is basically 2 dimensions, because we multiply 2 dimensions. We multiply the length and the breadth. So we say area is equal to the length is 10 meters and the breadth is 5 meters. We multiply that together and we get 50 meters squared. And it is squared because we are multiplying. In perimeter, we were adding, so it just stays as a unit of that measurement. But in this case, because we're multiplying, we always put a square by the unit of measurement. So we're going to use this formula for a rectangle and also a square. Okay, now we're going to look at the area of a triangle. In an area of a triangle, we use the formula area is equal to half base times height. Now, if you look at the middle of the triangle, it separates the triangle into 2 right angle triangles. So now we look at the base. The base is 5 centimeters and the height is 8 centimeters. Okay, so we have our base and we have our height. And if we're going to take our measurements and put it into the formula, we're going to say area is equal to half b times h, that's base times height. And that is half 5 centimeters, which is our base, and our height is 8 centimeters. So we multiply the 5 and the 8 together and we get 40 centimeters squared, and we halve that. So we're taking 40 divided by 2 and we're going to get 20 centimeters squared. So our area is 20 centimeters squared. So that is how we calculate the area of a triangle. Hope you liked and enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Go back and pause certain videos, write the information down, and learn it so you can be a master at area and perimeter. Bye everyone. Enjoy your day.